sold in July.
You should pay attention. That's true.
It's not working. Let the master. This is the house. This is the before picture. It's a 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath, ramp, or 2-story. In West Bloomfield, northwest part of West Bloomfield. This is Commerce Road, Union Lake Road, the lakes area. On the right side was on an acre. On the con side was on a crawl. Did not have a garage, and it had $14,000 water bill, because the pipes froze as a foreclosure, and a ton of water went through the house, and there was some mold in the house. Okay, how did I find the deal? You've probably heard of the term farm area. This was in my farm area. It was in my neighborhood. I knew this house was up for sale for a while. It was a short sale. I knew when it went into foreclosure because I knew the story behind the house, and I just kind of watched it. I happened to be driving by the day that the sign went in the ground. I knew it was coming up as a foreclosure. Saw it that very day. I made an offer that day. I called the listing agent directly. I told them that I wanted to put an offer in that day. I wanted that offer submitted that day. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. That I was the only person putting an offer in, and it went over the weekend. Now I have my real estate license. It's a little easier for me to find things like this, but this deal was kind of a no-brainer because I knew the area and I knew to expect it to come in. So how did I evaluate this deal? Like I said, I had the advantage on this one. I knew the area really well. I lived there for 9 years in this summer. It was kind of a back of the envelope thing. I didn't do a big spreadsheet at first. I did a spreadsheet and a work plan after I got the house. I knew what values were. I was able to guesstimate what the rehab was going to run at this, $30,000 to $40,000. That's kind of a big range, but at this point, I wasn't trying to figure out exactly what's the highest amount of money I can buy for and still make the profit I want. I was trying to figure out how can I get this thing close to listing price, because I know it's just a matter of how much profit I'm making. I knew the ARVs on the houses like this were 140 to 160 in my neighborhood. And I knew it was a good deal, unless there was something really major wrong with it. And there was major stuff wrong with it in terms of the mold, the water damage. But at 56.9, I knew I had a lot of margin.
Yeah.
So it wasn't a question of do I want to put an offer on the house or not, or do I want to offer about the listing price or not. It was, will I go really high to try to get it? A few pictures of it before the house. It doesn't actually look that bad. The people who had lived there before fixed it up trying to sell it as a short sale. So cosmetically, it looked nice, and it got a lot of attention when it went for sale. A house in West Bloomfield, well-big schools, $55,000. If you've ever gone in a house or an REO that has broken pipes, you see the ceiling fan blades drooping down. That's the sign. It's been humid for a long time because they get soft. You can tell just looking at the pictures on the MLS. There's water damage in the house. Hardwood floors in the living room. Renegade kitchen. It was like the original kitchen. They just refaced some stuff. You can see the dehumidifiers. There was signs with a lot of water in the house. The asset management company sent some people in to rip the pipes out, locate the leaks, and tag them with a little big tape on it. So find most of it. There's another wall there where the pipes are frozen. The froze underneath the vanity there. They also froze underneath the vanity on the second floor. So there was water coming down from the second floor in the house. Fortunately, this area, it's between all the lakes. It's a very sandy soil. The water department estimated there was over 1 million gallons of water that came out of this house. It was $14,000. How long does it take to run a $14,000 water? I know, because I'm an engineer, I tried to calculate it based on flow rates and that sort of thing, and I'm thinking a month and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. But because it didn't pool outside, you didn't see the signs except I talked to the water guy who eventually shut it off, and he said the windows were all iced up.
On the inside.
And there was just one spot you could see in where there was a draft and we kept the window clear. But it didn't look that bad. The carpet in here was kind of dirty, but it's newer carpet. That's my helper. That's my little 9-year-old helper. It's the upstairs bathroom. That's again the vanity, the pipes burst under there. One of the bedrooms upstairs. You can't really tell from the picture, but there was some coupling for hardwood floors. So you got to deal with that carefully. You don't just go refinish them right away because then they'll reverse cup on you. Another bedroom. I don't like the colors, but they were finished really nicely. If the house hadn't had the broken pipes, it was sold for good money as an REO. Third bedroom. That's a closet. It was the only area of the house that really didn't bother to finish nicely. And then there's a tree that's leaning over the parking pad out front, which I had to address. It's 30-degree angle or something.
Is that because of the water?
I don't think so. I think it's just the root system.
You cut it down?
I did. I cut that one down, and then the one next to it looked really goofy because all the growth is just on one side, so I cut that one down. How did I fund the deal? Self-funding. I paid for the purchase, I paid for the lead. The first offer I made was $55,000 cash, 15 days to close, $10,000 earnest money deposit, with an inspection contingency, which wasn't a negative in this case because with the seller, they allowed everybody an inspection contingency in 10 days. Like I said, I offered on day one, went right over to the listing agent's office, signed all the papers. It was a Thursday. I was hoping that we'd get an answer back and I'd lock it up because this was actually right at the very end of the first-time home buyer tax credit period. And people were going crazy trying to buy houses. And I knew it was going to go a lot of retail traffic. And again, I went through the house on Sunday and there were 12 or 15 business cards sitting on the counter from other agents. I didn't get it. The agent called me, the listing agent called me and asked me if I wanted to raise my offer. And I went up to $60,000, and then I said, that's my best. But I told her to keep me in mind, because I had suspicion it was going to go to somebody who was a retail buyer, they were going to have it checked out by a home inspector, and they were going to freak out. And that's what happened. Went back on the market after about 10 days. Because I went, I think, directly to the listing agent, I got what I call VIP treatment. In other words, she called me first, of all people to put it to. She told me where I needed to be and how soon I needed to get all the paperwork to her to get the deal done. So I ended up offering 60 and a half, got it accepted, got it inspected by the guy that I know Dennis has used and many people have used, John Paul, a very good home inspector. And I had a mold remediation report, because I've done most things in a flip, but I've never done a mold one. After I got the report from the mold remediation company, I asked them to give me an estimate of what it would take to fix it. They gave me a pretty strong estimate, and I took that back to the listing agent and got them to reduce the price with the bank another $5,000. Nice. Because the house had already fallen out once, they're more receptive to making that kind of adjustment. Okay, here's some pictures of the rehab. One thing with flips, if you buy an REO, usually the houses don't look great to begin with. Then you start doing the rehab, and they look even worse for a while. And you think, oh my God, what am I getting into here? That's the kitchen, after the cabinets were taken out, and some of the subfloor. That's the back wall of the kitchen. That's that lower floor room with the carpet in. Took the carpet out. I wasn't sure how pervasive the mold was. I was not going to do a full rehab and leave anything behind. It might still be moldy. So it ended up being fine underneath, but we took the carpet out. We took up some of the hardwood floors in the upstairs hallway because, again, we wanted to see if there was any mold underneath the between the subfloor and the hardwood floor. Didn't want to put everything back together and then have the inspector come in and have some smells. Started taking out drywall and ceiling to see how far the mold went. And the crew that morning didn't get the instruction like stop when you don't find mold. So they went about 15 feet past where they needed to. This is the other part. This is down in the crawl space. We didn't have a very big crawl space. It was a dirt, sand, crawl space. I was 75 years old, so it's been like this the whole time. There was water inside all the flex tubing there. There was mold. You can see it's white up on the rafters up there. That's mold. It's a better picture of it. There was, whoever lived there before had put insulation up between the joists, and that's just how the moisture is. So that was a nasty environment. People clean that out there every morning. Then inside the house, we sort of did a selective demolition, to see if there was a lot of mold or no mold. So we went 2 feet up from the ground because the sheet of drywall is 4 feet. So to basically take half the width of the sheet of drywall, try to cut it along and then you go back to patch. It's really easy. And a lot of this was exploratory surgery. We didn't find that much, except for right in the kitchen where we definitely drywall. We had the same thing here in the living room. The other thing we did, I want to walk one of these little inspection cameras. You can get it for $100, $150. It's got a little head on it, it's got a camera, and about a 3 or 6 foot sort of snaky type flexible with the leather. Drill a little hole in the stud bay, and you take the base board trim out, drill a little hole, stick that up in the stud bay, and it has a light on it, and you can see if there's mold inside that stud bay or not before you shut camera stuff out. So we did that in areas upstairs where we didn't want to have to take the last time at all. Here's an example. There was mold in the drywall right behind the kitchen area and the cabinets room. Here it's starting to make progress. We're starting to put it back together. It's some good insulation there on the back wall. It's a rigid foam. It's not fiberglass insulation. It's got higher R value. Because this is a concrete block wall house. And we referred out from the wall for insulation. We only had the width of a 2x4. So we're patching up the ceilings again, put a few more recessed lights in. More progress there. Had the floors all refinished, so that's why it was covered up here. We had to refinish the floors a little before we wanted to because the kitchen had nothing in it, just had subfloors. We were trying to get the cabinets in. Put the flooring in before we get the cabinets in. And there's my crew. I'm going ahead mixing up some concrete to patch the sidewalk, and that's my 7-year-old giving him supervision. Okay, exit strategy is the plan's to flip it, to get out, have it out on sale. The backup plan is to do either a lease option or a contract. I got a lot of people interested in doing a lease option or a contract on this. That were good quality people that have gone through foreclosure insurance. A lot of entrepreneurs that have a business and the business won't go up. So is a backup plan, but I really want to cash out. So finishing, I listed it for $154,900. Here's some after pictures. It's a kitchen, cherry cabinets, granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, freshly painted.
Doesn't look like the same house.
No, it doesn't. It's amazing. It's amazing. The kitchens make all the difference. There's the dining room. I did sort of a light staging, took some furniture that I had. Just keep dining set. I believe in spending a little extra money when you flip a house that's not in a real low price range. This is a 5-burner gas convection oven stove. Okay, you could have got one for a couple $100 less. But I had people tell me how much they love the stove after they go through the house. Somebody cooks, that's what it brings to the house, as opposed to buying the absolute cheapest stainless steel in the front. Stainless steel dishwasher with stainless steel tub, little blue LED blinkies on the front. It makes little chime sounds when you touch the button. Just little things like that, but you'd be surprised how much people function. Cabin depth, stainless steel refrigerator. Living room, floors are already finished. Stained the darker stain because we had some mixed wood species. We had some white out and some red out. Again, stage, lightly. That's that room where the carpet was on the lower level. We turned it into a bedroom. So we made it from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom. Still 1.5 bath, but we also did some measuring. We found that the listing said it was 1525. It was actually 1622 square feet. So we found it with value. Stage 1 bedrooms upstairs and sort of a cutesy, child room. That's a redone bathroom, sort of sage green type color that seems to be in these days. That's the half bath downstairs. One of the bedrooms, again, sort of the sage green, a little lighter shade. And more of a neutral on that one. All the floors were finished, all the walls were painted, the house was painted outside. It's a backyard. It's about an acre, 300 feet. Okay, here's the timeline for this thing. Purchased in June last year. Went up for sale in October for $154.9. November, signed a contract. Went pending. Buyer did an inspection. Found a few things that worried them. Not a big deal, but they backed up. So, back on the market. This next one, I was the listing agent, I was the selling agent in this, so I had both sides of the transaction. We got through to the inspection phase, and this guy kind of freaked out. He was a very safety conscious guy. We signed the papers with at a Coney Island. We signed on a purchase and sale agreement. And it was one of these Coney Islands where they have the Salnaki, the flaming cheese. About 6 booths away, they like the flaming cheese. He's reading all the papers. He's there with his 4-year-old daughter. So I, talking to her, entertaining her a little bit. I said, well, look, Elizabeth, look at the flaming cheese. He grabs her, puts his hand over her eyes, and says, I don't want her to see them, and then mouths the word fire. So, oh boy. So we had a little mold in the attic when he did his inspection. He freaked out on that. Dropped out of the meeting. Unfortunately, that was in mid to late December, so things weren't dead for 3 months. I had as many showings in a month in that time period as I would in like 3 days back in the fall. Did a $5,000 price reduction. I didn't go further because I had no money in it. My cost of money was minimal, and opportunity cost at the time I didn't have something else I needed to put the money in. And I knew when spring came around, things were going to take off. April, had a few lowball offers, did another $5K price reduction, and in May, finally got on the receiving end of a highest and best situation. I had an offer come in for $143, and an offer come in for $130. I told him it was highest and best, and the $143 couldn't come up any higher. The other guy came up with $153.5 for $130. They wanted the house. And we closed in July. Here's some numbers. Like I said, the offer that I accepted was $153.5. I agreed to pay 3% closing costs, and I agreed to pay an outstanding note assessment, which is about $4,500, which I anticipated because that's normally not assumed. Post-inspection, he had some concerns. It was nothing big. It was dimensions of rooms that he thought should have been bigger, just to get the thing done because I thought it was a solid, super deal. I reduced the $4,000. I managed the appraisal process. That's usually the trick. If the appraisal comes in too low, I'm not going to do it. The appraisal came in at $155. I had 5 comps from this sub. This sub always transacts at a higher price than most surrounding subs because the subdivision I live in owns about 3,000 feet of lakeshore on Minstrace Lake, so you can dock your boat there all year long. We've got 22 acres of woods. It's all community neighborhood property. So it transacts at a higher price. It was met the appraiser. Went through the whole thing with them, told them about the 75th anniversary celebration, showed them our Code Free Press. Came in at $155. Then the bank got it, they thought it was too high, they wanted to review appraisal. So they sent somebody out who didn't even come in the house, and all their comps were from other subs, and they came back with $130. And the bank said, we're sticking with $130. Fortunately, this buyer had some money. So we ended up being able to massage this deal We agreed on 137. We're not paying closing costs, we didn't pay off the road assessments. And I got to keep the teak lawn furniture on the back, which I had agreed to give them. And I called that back, but my wife did not want to do that stuff away. So I netted 129 plus about $1,000 in commission that I got back this liaison. Proceeds on this 130, purchase price 55.5. My hard costs were about 36,000. That's all the actual rehab things, soft costs, holding costs. It's property taxes, it's utilities, it's insurance. Under 5K, net profit about 33.5. Any questions?
No time for questions. You blew through your time. Hey, give a round of applause.